Testing, testing. Can we all hear me? Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this meeting of the Council. Before I start, I would just like to announce that the authority has now turned 50 years old and arrangements are well underway for our celebrations with an announcement to be made in due course, and I am quite excited. I'll start with some domestic arrangements for the meeting. Due to the regulations surrounding voting, only those members physically present are able to vote. Mobile devices, please ensure that all electronic equipment is either on silent mode or switched off. There is no planned fire alarms, so if it does sound, please leave via the emergency exits. The meeting is being live streamed during open session for members of the public to watch. Hello. If you would like to speak, then press your microphones to let me know. When I invite you to speak, your microphones will turn red. Please do not obstruct your mouth to ensure that anyone lip reading can do so. If anyone is having an issue, please let Democratic Services know. I'd just like to apologise. I've had an issue with health and safety today, which I haven't been able to resolve. We have a limit, unfortunately, of 90 candles within this auditorium, which means neither Wes nor Pete Pillinger will have candles on their cake today because it is both their birthdays. Wes is a mere 28, where Pete Pillinger has reached the age of 70 today. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Peter and Wes. Happy birthday to you. And as I say, there is no candles on the cake. There you go. Happy birthday. I've got nothing on the menu.
No, it's not.
Oh, thank you very much. Councillor Walton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is also Councillor Michael Green's birthday today.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michael. Happy birthday to you. And if I'd have known I'd have got your cake, I am sorry, sir. Anyway, there we go. I'll leave that on. Right, some points of procedures for members. Members asking a question have a minimum of 3 minutes and may ask one supplementary question directly related to the original question of no more than 2 minutes. When speaking on an item, all members must address the issue under debate. No speech may last longer than 5 minutes without my consent, because I am the mayor for the final time. A member who has spoken once on a motion may not speak again whilst it's being debated, except in specific circumstances. Also, individual members of the public will be restricted to speaking for a total of 5 minutes during the whole meeting. Okay, we move on. Number one, apologies for absence.
Apologies are being received from Councillor Howarth and Councillor Hunter.
Okay, thank you. Of course you can, Councillor Brotherton. Any others? Nope. Okay, item 2, minutes of the last meeting, which are on page 3 to 12. This is for the minutes of the meeting held on Wednesday, 27th of March, and is for decision. Could I please ask the Leader of the Council, Councillor Paul Foster, to propose the minutes be approved? Thank you. Is this seconded?
Did.
Okay. Are there any questions on points of accuracy? I can't see any. Can we please vote for, against, or abstain? If you'll press the button now. Thank you. That's definitely carried. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay, number 3, declarations of interest. Members are reminded of their responsibility to declare any pecuniary interests in respect of matters contained in this agenda. Are there any declarations? Councillor Green?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I declare it's a personal non-pecuniary interest in respect of item 9, as the fund allocation has come from Lancashire County Council, of which I'm a cabinet member. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 4, we move on to the Mayor's announcements. Can I start by thanking everyone for the support during my mayoral year, raising vital money for the chosen charities, and I do thank everyone. A special thanks to all those who attended the afternoon tea with the Mayoress event last week, which marked the final charity fundraising event. It's been a fantastic year, a great time, and I'd like to thank the award-winning Rococo Coffee Lounge in Leyland as well for helping out last week. Since the last council meeting, I've attended various engagements right across the borough. Some highlights include the opening of a dental practice, Leyland St Mary's 50th anniversary celebration mass, which was very good. We gave out a certificate at KH Hire on their anniversary. Of course, the St George's Day celebrations with the Scouts and Cubs. And I also attended Runshaw's 50th birthday celebrations. They've been going as long as us. And yesterday I went along to Mounsey Road, which is a lovely little play area for mums and toddlers, which was fantastic. I'm going to miss doing this rubbish, by the way. Right, moving on to number 5, appointment of cabinet lead members and member champions. This is on pages 37 to 40. This item is for decision. Can I please ask the leader of the council, Councillor Paul Foster, to present the report?
Thank you, Mayor. We're at that time of the year again with the annual meeting of the council, where I'm required to appoint the deputy leader and the cabinet, and I'll go through that in a second. And then council's required to vote on the appointment of the lead members and member champions. So, Mayor, you'll all note from the papers the cabinet roles and responsibilities have changed slightly. My role as the leader of the council and the cabinet member for strategy and reform is pretty much the same as it was last year. I'm then appointing Councillor Aniela Belinsky-Gelder as the deputy leader, and now the cabinet member for communities, housing and the visitor economy. Moving through, Mayor, Councillor Matthew Tomlinson will then take up the role of the cabinet member for finance, assets and commercialisation. Councillor Colin Sharples will take up the role of cabinet member for customer services and digital. Councillor Ian Watkinson will take on the role of cabinet member for economic growth, planning and investment. Councillor Jackie Alty will take on the role of the cabinet member for licensing, social justice, equality and diversity. Councillor Claire Hunter will take on the role of cabinet member for leisure and wellbeing. And finally, it's my great pleasure to invite Councillor Kath Unsworth onto the cabinet to take on the role of cabinet member for environment and street scene. Welcome, Kath. There's one minor amendment to the responsibilities, Mayor. Currently under Councillor Kath Unsworth's role is that of public protection, and I'm going to move that. It's a slight change. It was missed. Public protection actually will sit in with licensing with Councillor Jacqueline Alty. Moving on, the lead members for the next municipal year. For young people, Councillor Emma Stevens, reporting through the deputy leader. The lead member for member development, welfare and mental health will be Councillor Lou Jackson, reporting through myself. And then the lead member for social justice and equality will be Councillor Leslie Pritchard, and she'll be reporting through the cabinet member for licensing, social justice, equality and diversity. Then finally, Mayor, the member champions, safeguarding and older people, will be Councillor Jane Bell. The Armed Forces champion will be Councillor Matthew Farnworth. And the climate change champion will be Councillor Keith Martin. And I commend all these appointments to Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Is this seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the council? No. Are there any questions from members of the public? I can't see any. We're now at the end of the debate on the proposal, if there was a debate. So this is for lead members. This is for, against or abstain. If you could please push your buttons now, that would be fantastic. Clearly carried. That the appointment of members of the Cabinet be noted, that the amendments to the Cabinet portfolios be noted, and the appointment of lead members' roles be approved. Thank you very much indeed. We now move to item 6, appointments to committees, panels, working groups, etc. 24-25. This is on page 41 to 52. This item is for decision. Please can I ask the Leader of the Council, Councillor Paul Foster, to present this report.
Thank you once again, Mayor. The purpose of the report that's presented to members is to allocate places on the various committees of the Council in accordance with Section 15 of the Local Government and Housing Act of 1989, and to make the appointments to those committees in accordance with Section 16 of the Act, together with the appointment to the chairs and vice chairs of the appropriate committees, panels and working groups. Everything is presented within the report for members, and I propose. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is this seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you. Are there any questions from any members of the council? Nope. Are there any questions from members of the public? Nope. We now move to the vote. For, against or abstain, please press your buttons now. It's clearly carried that the appointment of members to the council, to the committees, panels and working groups be approved. Item 7. Appointments to outside bodies for 24-25. This is on page 53 to 54. This item is for decision. Can I please ask the Leader of the Council, Councillor Paul Foster, to present the appointment to outside bodies?
Thanks, Mayor. As members are aware, this is the final appointment document tonight. We're required to appoint members to a number of outside bodies, the majority of which are actually associated with particular Cabinet portfolio positions. So I'm happy to present to Council for adoption. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is this seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the council? No. Any questions from members of the public? No. Then we move to the vote. For, against or abstain, please press your buttons now. No, not yet. Yeah, we can do now. Thank you. Clearly carried again that the appointment of members to the council to outside bodies 24-25 be approved. Thank you. Item 8 is council meetings 24-25. This item is for noting. Can I please ask the Leader of the Council, Councillor Paul Foster, to propose the dates? Thank you. Is this seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the council? Sorry. Right. Thank you. Councillor Walton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's just a matter to note, really, that a couple of those dates they clash with other things that might be important to members. The 27th of November is Lancashire Day, which other people might be involved in some things, and the 26th of March, I presume, will be a period of purdah for the Lancashire County Council elections. It's just for note, really, to say that those do conflict with things that the members might have in their diaries.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other comments or questions? No. Right. Okay, I would ask that be noted. Thank you. Moving swiftly on. Item 9, Household Support Fund, pages 13 to 34. This item is for decision. Can I please ask the Leader of the Council, Councillor Paul Foster, to present the report?
Thanks, Mayor. Fifth round of the Household Support Fund, as many members will be aware. The fund was put in there to support our local communities during particular times of hardship. The money has been allocated £329,741 through LCC, who are administering the funds on behalf of the DWP. Members will see within the report we're working to, as usual with the Household Support Fund, very tight deadlines. So we need to have this approval in place by the end of the month. Our business plan, for want of a better word, has already been submitted and accepted by the accountable body, Lancashire County Council. And then we have a 6-month period to expend all funds. There's some quite tight criteria around the use of the funds. And members will note that one of the things that the council is looking to do with the support of the DWP and government is prioritise and identify the particular areas of need within South Ribble. We have the data that substantiates and supports this, but it's really important that all members know that of the 5 wards that are highlighted as particular areas of need at the moment, that doesn't mean that there aren't other areas of need throughout the borough, and every single resident of this borough, as appropriate, can apply for the support. Members will also note the allocations that have been made by the council for the different interventions that we're looking to do. And all I can say is Household Support Fund 1, 2, 3 and 4, there was a huge uptake. And I'm also aware that we fully expended the previous support fund as well. I think if we're all sat here today, we wish we were in the position of having to introduce these interventions, but the conditions of the economy and the challenges that our communities face require this continued support. It's therefore my recommendation to Council that we accept the allocation from LCC. We establish the revenue budget in line with the allocation for the purposes of administering the Household Support Fund find, and any changes that we need to make to the delivery plan and the budget delegated to the Director of Communities in consultation with the Cabinet Member for Communities, Leisure and Wellbeing. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Is this seconded?
Seconded.
Okay. Are there any questions from members of the council? Yeah. Any? Councillor Watson. Walton. Thank you. I do apologise, Karen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we welcome the allocation of the Household Support Fund of almost £400,000 through Lancashire County Council. And it is sad that we have to have this money, but the government has recognised there is a need to support our most vulnerable members of society in whatever we can do. And South Ribble have received approximately £2 million in this household support fund since February 2022. And it is essential that we support our most vulnerable members of society. And like you said, Councillor Foster, it isn't just in the 5 wards, there are areas of deprivation all over the borough. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Walton. Councillor Angela Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to start by saying that the leader has mentioned tonight that anybody can apply for this fund. So that kind of answers my question, but I still want to make the point that the opposition leader has just made, that whilst we absolutely support targeting those in need and addressing inequalities, I have to raise our initial concerns about the fact that the report itself does state that this is being done on artificial election boundaries, wards, which therefore doesn't seem to take much cognizance of pockets of deprivation which occur across the whole of South Ribble Borough. My ward is next door to Middlefirth, which has been highlighted in the report. But if you step out of the border from Broadoak into Middlefirth, you arrive at Bishop's Avenue, which has rows and rows of Band D properties, whereas I have areas of social housing and deprivation within my ward of Broadoak in Penwortham. So I have concerns about referencing artificial election boundaries. I recognise that that's in the report, and the leader has now commented that anybody can apply for this. And that's good that he recognises we have areas of deprivation across the borough and not specified in wards. And I trust that the officers with the leadership team will take this into consideration and ensure that anyone who's really suffering in this borough, of which there are many people across all the wards in South Ribble, will be picked up accordingly. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Councillor Foster, do you want to come back? Sorry, where? Councillor Green, thank you. Councillor Green, unfortunately my screen isn't working, so I am having to rely. Thank you.
It's not a problem, Mr. Mayor. And whilst I am rising, can I take the opportunity to thank you for your work as Mayor over the last 12 months? I've seen you out and about at lots of events, and it's been appreciated by the communities. Thank you. And to the Mayoress as well. Just on this item, I concur with some of the concerns that Councillor Turner has expressed, but accept the clarification that's been given by the leader this evening. I wholeheartedly support this fund. I think by adding up what we've actually received into South Ribble directly over the 5 rounds, it amounts to more than £2 million to support vulnerable residents within South Ribble. And that funding has made a real difference to so many people. So really support this. The initiatives are set out in the report, but I'm just going to pick out one of them, not because that's more important than the others, don't get me wrong, but affordable warmth and providing warm homes is so important to so many residents that we provide them with homes of a decent standard. So yeah, really pleased to support this. Pleased that we've got the additional money again from the government, passported down through the County Council, and the County Council's got additional funds as well, which they will be spending on this to make a real difference in South Ribble and across the area. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillor Ashton.
Thank you. 2 points really. Wanted to echo what everybody else has said around the room. I'm very glad that this money has been made available and it's been invested so wisely on behalf of the residents of South Ribble since the fund was first created. Just to, on a slightly more negative point, I suppose, is just to note that this allocation is only until September 2024, which feels like quite a short time scale. Let's hope it continues after September 2024. I know there's a lot of uncertainty, but I'm sure that the need will continue beyond September 2024. That's all.
Yes, very likely. Councillor Williams.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to concur the comments with Councillor Ashton. So I'm currently chairing a scrutiny task group looking into the issue of homelessness across South Ribble and the potential causes and the solutions we offer and could look to offer in the future. This funding has been used for a variety of activities that have contributed to keeping people in homes before they get home, before they're homeless, dealing with some of the issues that homelessness presents, and also helping the most vulnerable. And it's of great concern to me that this funding has only been given by the government, and it's only scheduled until October. and nothing else after that. And as we come towards the winter months, where perhaps some of this funding is of greater need, the support offered by this fund may not be available. Can we, as a council, lobby the government to continue with this vital funding further into the future, as it's proven that this funding has helped protect our most vulnerable residents and in their times of need, and this funding is vital to the council to continue with these vital services that we offer. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillor Farnworth.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say that I too am in full support of voting for this further instalment of the Household Support Fund. But let's be honest, it's just a sticking plaster, really. And we shouldn't be doing this in the 6th largest economy in the world. So for me, it's just typical of a short-term vision that this government's got for us, especially in local government. Like Councillor Williams alluded to already, we're seeing people, growing cases of homelessness, people at becoming risk of homelessness. And the number of people, particularly children in temporary accommodation, which has risen about 14% in the last year alone throughout England, is shocking. And I think as councillors, we all need to thank the good work that our benefits, housing and social prescribing teams have done throughout the course of the past couple of years amongst growing pressure. I don't know about anyone else as well, but I've had quite a few cases in my inbox of people that are desperately needing another household support fund payment. But it's quite right that we have a 6-month rule to ensure that it's distributed fairly amongst all residents. Now, despite the good work the council does, we've got things like the Citizens Advice, the Credit Union, community organisations like Wade Hall Residents Association in 7 Stars. We've got places like the Base and CNOS, all do really good things to help people try and become self-sustainable. But again, it's due to the short-term funding provided by the government, it's unacceptable. I think we should be given the long-term, medium and long-term tools to work with community champions and ensure that people receive things like budgeting advice, welfare advice. Well, let's be honest, it only goes so far. It's been said that that people are 1 or 2 paychecks away from potentially losing their homes, particularly renters. And with private rents continuing to increase, we're past the local housing allowance, which means that local authorities like ourselves are having to pay more in discretionary housing payments and then using the Household Support Fund as a top-up. So in my view, we should be doing everything to help our residents, but it's essential that the government provides medium and long-term funding for this. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Farnworth. Councillor Pete, I'm 70 today, Pillinger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm glad to see under item 16 mention of single-person households in this. It's only when you become a single-person household that you recognise, perhaps with any seriousness, that you're paying the same standing charges on your energy as households with 3 or 4 incomes coming in. You're paying council tax at a rate which is subsidised by 25% when there's only 50% of the number of people of a married couple who are still there. And there's lots of other expenses going. And as people get older, there are more and more people who are in single-person households. So, and that is across the board. It's, as is already recognised, not limited to wards. It's across the whole borough. It's in areas like Buckshaw and Worden, where there are considerable numbers of people who are older, on their own, with their own homes, who are asset rich and income poor. And I'm glad to see that recognised.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor. I cannot, if you wish to speak, please indicate. That's smashing. No one. Councillor Foster, do you want to come back?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. I'd like to associate myself with many of the comments that colleagues have just made there. There's a couple of points I would make, and it's the government. If you remember, only a couple of months ago, I was one of the councillors, a number of councillors, leaders wrote to the Chancellor to encourage them to continue with the Household Support Fund. There was a strong chance that this was going to be shelved by the government, but ultimately our will prevailed and they at least agreed for another 6-month extension. There needs to be more than that. There clearly needs to be more than that. We need a more medium and long-term plan, Mayor, to allow us to plan and support our communities properly. One of the things that does irritate me slightly is when we thank Lancashire County Council and the government for giving us the money. It's not their money, it's not the government's money, it's our money. It's our residents' money that's been distributed to our residents through times of need. And I always point that out. We administer residents and council taxpayers' money. We don't, it's not ours. On the thing of boundaries, Councillor Turner, as I said clearly, as part of the protocol for the delivery of this fund, we have to set some priority areas. We don't pick the priority areas. The priority areas select themselves through the data that the NHS, the DWP, the Citizens Advice Bureau, Samstaff Rebel Council, Lancashire County Council and the government set. And what can't be argued is that areas of most significant deprivation within the borough are within the areas that have been highlighted there. And furthermore, I would say we don't look at boundaries, Councillor Turner, we look at people. And as I said earlier as well, every single resident in this borough, whether within Hoole, Longton, Bamber Bridge, Leyland, Penwortham, are all entitled, if they need the support, they will get the support. If you see within the report as well, it does mention property rich, cash poor. There's a real issue for that for our residents. And significantly, it's the working families that are struggling more than any others at the moment. And these are all the people that we need to support. So I remind Council, although we've set some parameters for priorities, everywhere is a priority. However, when we have our Great South Ribble bus going out, our benefits bus going out there again for that period of 6 weeks, we have to set a plan in place, and we're always going to set the plan for the priorities that are set by the data that we receive. But it doesn't mean anybody will be excluded. And I just hope that over the coming months, we can convince the government to commit to this scheme for the medium term, to allow councils and residents to start planning and get themselves out of the challenges that they face currently with the cost of living and the numerous other challenges that they face. So it's a start. It's going to provide some assistance. It's not going to go far enough. We know it's not going to go far enough. But I'd urge all councillors in all wards, get out in your communities. If they need the support, contact officers and we'll provide that support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Foster. It was remiss of me. I didn't invite any members of the public to speak. Nick? No, that's all right. We will move on to the vote then with it. So, for, against or abstain, if you'd like to press your buttons now. That is clearly carried. Thank you very much. I have no urgent items. I'm going to stand up for this bit though, because I just want to say thank you to you all for your support during this my mayoral year, and I know Kim sends her heartfelt thanks to you all. It's been absolutely wonderful. Thanks for supporting us. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is now closed.